Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the HAMAA Experience, and we have an amazing guest for you. You guys may have heard about Dambe boxing because we talked about once ago with Max Kalu, and now we have one of the fighters that we talked about and his epic story and all the things he did. But first, we have a short video.
The young warrior spirit of House Dambe echoes through the village, a celebration of strength. The drum beats call for the courage within. The boxers stand ready, wrapped fists like hammers, their bodies honed for battle, their eyes ablaze. In this ring of honor, where pride meets humility, they dance the dance of life and death.
So we already have fans everywhere in the world. So now we want to have fighters from everywhere in the world.
Leyland is the first European athlete to compete in Dambe.
Welcome to Nigeria. Thank you.
Ya taho tun daga Ingila zuwa Najeriya.
Yana da gaskiya a hankali domin ‘yan lambar da sun goge.
Zai yi wasa rana Asabar. Saboda haka sai na kawo shi wurinka saboda amana da ke tare da mu. Don Allah a taimaka a yi mashi roƙon Allah.
Your hand go strong, your hand go dry. Any person where you beat, you know say, man you beat up. You understand me?
Inda ya sa zuciyar shi zai yi lafiya lau za su yi don su za a buge ka za ka tashi za ka buge za a tashi lafiya lau za su yi don su ai sun sa ran su za su zuciya ne.
These lads can't lose. They're saying what happens if he loses? What happens?
Just crazy, isn't it? I remember when you first mentioned this whole idea and it just seemed so unachievable at the time, and now look where you are. And if anyone can do this, like you can do this.
Yeah, I know.
Man, the myth, the legend here. Thank you so much, Luke. Or how do we pronounce your name that you were given?
So it was Dambe Kudawa.
And
Yeah, it's a great name. Something I've been using a lot lately since I've got back to my own community and stuff, and very honoured to have it.
Yes, I mean, as you should. So for those of you back home, he actually went there, trained, had a successful match, was absolutely amazing, and came back. You were inducted into the house, correct?
Yeah. When I went over there, we met a couple of the fighters, and we went through a couple of rituals and a couple of beliefs, and eventually, when they found out I was going to be fighting, they inducted me into a Dambe house, House Kudu, which was a great honour.
That's so cool. So I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, fans, but this is Luke Leyland, an accomplished fighter. Could you tell us a little bit more about your pedigree and where you came from and where you're actually from?
Yeah, so first of all, Spencer, thank you for bringing me on. I've actually watched your show before, and it's a great honour to be on, so thank you for inviting me on. So
thank you for coming.
From the UK. No problem. I'm from the UK. I'm originally from a place called Birkenhead, and that's where I grew up. I started off by starting off in a couple of little things growing up, such as taekwondo. I was always thrown into different types of martial arts growing up. I didn't really stay in them too long. It was around about maybe a year to a couple of months. And then from there, I always had a passion for professional wrestling growing up. So I'd always watched the WWF. It was back then. So going in from there, it was between going into a couple of boxing gyms and then eventually visiting a professional wrestling gym, which then from there I became a professional wrestler. And I was actually a professional wrestler for about 3.5, close to 4 years. That was my job for the time. And it was one of the best jobs I had. So I came away from there, always visiting different gyms, whether it was to stay on top of my my health, or whether it was to practice little different martial arts. And then eventually,
That's outstanding. And I think
yeah.
that's really cool for those of you who aren't.
Oh, have we lost you there, Spencer? Hello? It might just be myself here, Spence.
No, I think we lost Spence there. We had some technical difficulties. So, folks, you know me. I'm Osa. I'm going to jump on temporarily until Spence gets back on. So, Luke, you're here today. I'm sorry you got the poor man Spencer here, filling in for him.
Oh, no, not a problem. This is the beauty of being live. Anything
Yeah,
can happen.
yes,
So
right.
it's, I love it.
And this is why we got the host now, because I was having too much technical difficulties trying to do it on myself. Basically, like, you went over there. I'm kind of trying to think of the question that he asked you there before we got cut off. But you were initiated into House Kudu. Tell us a little bit about your initiation.
Yeah, so I was told a couple of days prior going into the arena. I went into the arena and I met one of the coaches and a couple of the fighters. And the picture that you seen there is with a famous fighter called Coronavirus. Yeah, he's the man.
He's the man. He's the man.
Ali himself. I met Coronavirus. I met the coach and a couple of the fighters. And then I was told I was going to be inducted into House Kudu.
Nice.
And so there's a couple of different houses, but Kudu was the one that I was chosen for, and I'll be representing in the fight. And then I went into the arena with the coach and with a couple of the fighters from House Kudu, and I was initiated in front of the crowd in the arena that we fought. I think it was a day before, and the crowd seemed to accept me. They have Kudu fans there, and they seemed to really accept me. I was given a shirt by Coronavirus and the coach,
right,
and the commissioner as well, and they all welcomed me. And then I done a kind of circle to go and meet the fans. So it was a great moment, and a first in history as well.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot. Some of the videos that I saw, like, you did a tour. They had you, jumping out of vans in the middle of the street, and everybody was going wild. You had the military escort. Look like, it seemed.
To ga dai coronavirus nan da shi da lukulen din masu kallon mu suna yin training. To masu kallon mu wallahi lukulen din da ya gashi nan yana ta kokari masu kallon mu yana training, suna training.
Okay. So I think we have Spencer back. But before I go, I'm gonna ask one more question. So tell us, what was the training like that you went through?
So with the amount of time we had there, we couldn't go through too much training at the time. But the training that I did get was from the coach and, as you've seen there, from Coronavirus, and it was more on defense and not about rushing in. My initial plan was to rush in and go like hellfire. But the coach and especially Coronavirus there was like, no, hold back, wait, always have your guard up, and like wait for the perfect time to strike. But he said always have your hand up. That's what you can see there, what he was telling me, always have it up. So they were very, very keen on keeping me hand up and not rushing in. It's a technical game, Dambe. I know it looks probably quite simple to some people, but it is quite technical.
Okay. All right, Spencer. I'm gonna hand the baton back over to you, my brother. You ready?
I got it.
All right.
I hate
All right.
technology sometimes. Yay. And now
Yes,
I'm like,
Spencer,
what
nice to
questions
have you
are
back.
asked? But that's all right. Thank you so much. I was like, no, I hate internet. Anyway, so I know I'm sorry I missed out on the questions they'd asked. I noticed it about training, showed a little bit of picture of the footage. Did he happen to ask what was going through your mind or what made you want to do this in the first place? Like
No,
all that? Like,
yeah, so we did. He didn't get a chance to ask me that. But what made me wanted to do this in the first place was, well, the cat's out the bag now. So we've got a documentary that is coming out about my journey and everything about what went on over there. It's obviously hasn't been bought yet, so it's still there to be purchased. So what the basically it's I wanted to get involved in combat sports, but also document the journey through combat sports. So I wanted to document the culture around a certain combat sport, and I wanted to document the training around the combat sport, and then document myself actually taking part in that combat sport. So as soon as I seen Dambe, I thought, well, originally I thought, is this a movie? This can't be real? When I very first seen it, and when I come to realize that it was real, and it's not only real, it's been going for well over 1,000 years. I was extremely interested. So it went on from there. I eventually got in contact with Max Kalu, with African Warriors, and we just started speaking from there. I told him my idea. And I said, look, is there a chance that I will be able to come over and not only document some stuff, but take part in a Dambe fight? And he didn't say no. So I was like, okay, I might be in here. And then eventually, we after a couple of meetings and a lot of conversations, we got it done. And before I knew it, I was on a plane over to Nigeria, Lagos, and that's where it all began. But just
that's
with
so cool. And I think, yeah.
Just with the mindset you were saying,
go ahead.
with one of the conversations that I actually had with Maxwell, Maxwell he almost vetted me. He wanted to see what was in my mind and the reason why I wanted to do this, and most importantly, was I the right person to do this? Because this is a big cultural thing, and it's steeped in history, so you needed to have the right person to do it. And he said to me, this takes a lot of I think he used the word like cojones. It takes a lot of
yeah, a lot of gumption, a lot of guts.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like, he said, so can you do this? And I said, look, if I'm going to be coming over to do this, this is historic, this is history, and if I'm going to be one of the first from Great Britain to do it, then it is history, and history lives forever. So that means a lot more to me than having the cojones.
No, you're right. History does have a lot more to do with the cojones. But before we cut you off on that part, I think you being a warrior, being a fighter, we can talk about this, even though we've never crossed off in the ring or in that part. We already have this basic understanding that when you go into the ring, especially this kind of fighting, your life is on the line. It sounds dramatic, but if something accidental was to happen, that part, you could die. And especially at this point, you're representing their culture. They're letting you into their culture. So in the tribal aspect, and I'm not talking about tribal necessarily African people, I'm talking more just as humans. Like, we are now engaging in this. It's so weird when people use the word consent and people like consensual. Like, no, it's like I agree, you agree, and now we're going to do what best happens, and most of the time in good blood. So that's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and that's what it was. There was, as you've seen there was a little bit of back and forth between me and a fighter called Shaggy Yellow. That was actually my opponent, and that's exactly what it was. You mentioned, fighters can die there and stuff like that. That was, of course, in my head, and that was something that I actually had to come to terms with, that this is a possibility. It might happen. That was something that was always in my head throughout the journey. And it was something that I had to accept, and accept that it may happen on that sand on that day. But we both have agreed to it, and we was making history there, and hopefully now I've opened up a doorway to a lot more people going over and attempting that.
You 100% have. I know. I mean, I don't know if Americans have been over there, but and we talk about first all the time. It is important, and it's cool to be first. However, we know that just the act of doing it is what's important. So it doesn't matter if I was the third, fourth, or fifth. But I would like to be the first American to go over there and get punched in the face and have fun. I mean, it'd be better to dodge, but whatever happens, happens. But no, you've opened the door, and people, like you said in that little documentary before, where people are like, it seemed unattainable. And I also want to ask you, how many people told you that you probably shouldn't do this, or this won't work out, or aren't you worried you'll just disappear? And just all these things, right?
Yeah. There was quite a lot of people. There was a lot of doubt from my end, and I guess from my community, from where I'm from. There's a lot of input media-wise on the news, on social media, somewhat, and our government website about certain areas you can't go and stuff that may happen. So having that in my mind, and as well with people close to me, people in my work, telling me that I shouldn't really go, and this is what will probably happen. I had a gut feeling, and my gut feeling was I was destined to do this, and that was how I overcame certain fears, and that was what got me all the way to Nigeria, because I felt destined. So I had to shut these people off and just go with my own belief. And I have to tell some of them, look, if that's what you think is going to happen, that's fine, but stop telling me, because I need to have my own destination and my own belief, and just go with what I believe in. And if something was to happen, then that's on me. But I knew there was a chance to do something great, and myself, Max Kalu, African Warriors, and the fighters of Dambe, we all did it together. So I was made up for that. I was made up that my decision was right.
That's outstanding. And I think it's interesting. It's just something that we, as visionaries, as martial artists, anything, be it African HAMAA, also, we have to go against the stream sometime, or go against the current and be like, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to be smart about it. But I do understand these risks. And I think it's really cool that you mentioned this as well, is they were there to protect you. They were there to help you, trying to break that whole stigma about that once as soon as you step down, everything's just going to happen. And not to say wrong, anything can happen on this earth. You step down anywhere. I'm in Chicago right now. I can go out the street in Chicago, and I might be in the wrong place right now, and something could happen. So breaking that, especially for African diaspora and all these things, thank you for helping making headway in that. And it allows people now to step out of their comfort zones, if they so choose, to understand other cultures. Let me see.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say 100%. One thing that I was shocked the most, I mean, the whole journey itself, I can tell 1,000 stories of things that happened over there, amazing things. But one of the things that shocked me the most was the acceptance of the people in these places. After the fight, I thought, okay, they're probably going to put me aside now and probably not want to speak to me and not want to bother with me, because obviously I lost the fight. But the acceptance I had after the fight, they treated me like a winner. And, there's still people messaging me today and, just wanting to speak to me and just being made up with the whole experience of it. So, I thank the people of Katsina, of Kanu, and of Lagos for that. They've been absolutely amazing.
And we have a question that say, what's your favorite experience? What's your least favorite experience? And I'll go more for what's your favorite experience, and then if you could change something to make something easier or better, what would you go from there?
I think my favorite experience. There's so many over there. I think, to be honest, it was sitting down, I think, with Shagon Yalo after the fight, and we had some food. And we obviously didn't speak the same language, so he just kept saying my name, and I just kept saying his, and it was kind of like kind of like that way of communication. But it was, the fight was done. We were both safe, and I think we both done something amazing for this amazing sport, and we can both go back home for our families, and I knew I was seeing my family in a few days, so that was really a good moment for me, and you know, he was safe as well, so that was great. The things that I would change. These fighters do that. What you see there, and probably what people will start watching now, is you'll see that a Dambe fight. These fighters do that multiple times a week, so they'll fight like that multiple times a week, and I do worry. I do. I've met, like, you know, a lot of these fighters now, and you know, like, I've met Coronavirus and Shagon Yalo and Jan Sander, and you know, these stars over there, and I worry about the trauma that these lads are taking. But at the same time, this is part of their life. This is steeped in their history and what they've done. So I mean, I guess like the only like things that I would try and add, if they can, is little protection things, such as I think they are trying to do it now, like mouth guards. I'd probably try and stay away from strikes to the back of the head, because that's something that I think still allowed, I believe. And just things like that, you know, maybe stay on the front part of the body. But apart from that, I don't want to change. I wouldn't change too much about it, because then you're taking away the history of it. And I think it's already been changed maybe too much from the original, when the Dambe original started. So they used to use a lot of different materials and stuff, and objects in the rope and things like that. But I would always keep the rope. That rope is a huge part of Dambe, and I certainly wouldn't change it. I'd definitely keep.
That's awesome. So, yeah.
As you may know, that rope is called the kara. The kara. So when that rope is on, I'm not too sure if anyone's experienced anything like this before, but that rope is extremely tight on that hand, and it actually condenses your fist to a point where it's like a boulder, and it becomes harder than your actual fist. It's like throwing around a stone. So that was an experience that I just didn't expect when I seen that. So yeah, it's a special thing. The spirit.
And I remember, the spirit. Like I was gonna say, but this is the spear that you're using, and it's really like an actual. I could see all the point penetration, and being a weapons expert and worked with all the different martial arts and weapons across the world. When you see that point, like any kind of point that makes it tighter and stronger, I'm like, that's a lot of force that's adding. And people that aren't trained or don't know, they'll be like, it's just some rope. What is just some rope going to do?
No,
yeah,
absolutely. It's extremely tight, and it's extremely hard. As I said, it becomes harder than your actual fist because it's so condensed. And that was something that I didn't anticipate actually before going over.
Punches and that's getting just in there. I'm like, I want to train for this. I want to do this. And I think about the grappling and when they get close, like keeping your arm up, doing this. It's really a game of chess, even though people say they get into a slug fight and they're like, they're just slugging it out. But in between each breath, in between each move, you're like, should I break away? Should I push away? I mean, I can only imagine what you're thinking. And could you talk about some other things during that fight? And that was not your fight, obviously, but what you were thinking about?
Yeah, well, there was I had a game plan going in there. In Dambe, what people don't really see too much is kicks. Now you can kick in
Mm-hmm.
Dambe. Now I believe that you'll have to speak to the coaches beforehand because maybe in different areas they might have different areas that you can kick. In my fight, I said, can I kick anywhere? And they agreed. The other side agreed, and so we agreed that we can kick anywhere. So my game plan going in was to attack the calf because no one I've watched hundreds of Dambe fights, and I've never seen anyone really go and attack the calf. So that was my game plan. Going in, obviously, if you did watch the fight, you seen that I could only attack the calf so much, and then he come forward. Now in there, what I didn't anticipate was the technique. Now me and the coach did go over this, but seeing it in real time was completely different. Now what Shagon did to myself, he would stay back like this, and he would have his hand close to himself, and he would have his spear here like this, and then at the last second he'd just go, and he'd throw his leading hand. He'd throw the shield out just to block my line of sight, just for a split second, and that totally confused me to the point where I thought, has he thrown? Is he gonna throw? Is he coming forward? And a couple of times he didn't throw, but then I would anticipate him throwing, and it just threw me off my game. And there's one part that you'll see in the fight where he done it perfectly. As soon as he reached forward, bang, and came across with the spear, landed on my chin. He didn't put me down, but he put me back. He put me back. So he executed it perfectly. But that's his experience. That was his experience, and he
that's so amazing because exactly. That's so amazing because that's how especially in the African, actually all across the world, shields. When we talk about either if they're buckler size, big size, you use them as distractions to cut off points, or if you're swinging a sword, people like try to block the sword. But however, the sword's coming for you, right? So sometimes you only need to move it from here to make sure it doesn't hit you. But when you're using it to obstruct that view, that's a great tactic, and people don't really think about that. And two, for you guys listening at home, guys and gals, see, they were fighting in sand too. And I don't know. I mean, if you guys have ever been to the beach, walking the sand, try running up the beach like you see Rocky and Rocky Forward. I've done that a couple times, and it's intense. Especially, it looks like they fluff it kind of, so it's not really tight or packed. You're actually stepping, and you're having to make these calibrations and thoughts in your head.
Yeah, absolutely. With the sand, I've watched the fight back loads now, and what you'll see is Shagon Yellow bury his feet kind of almost in the sand. And I myself was trying to like move the sand out my way for some reason. It was just a natural reaction. But there was a part in it where you'll see me spin round, and I spun round too fast because I missed the kick. And the combination of just the unsteadiness of the sand, it wasn't so difficult moving through. It was just the unsteadiness of it, like the on top like consistency of it, and the speed that I spun round. I lost my footing. So it was it was something again I didn't anticipate. So if you are going to start training for Dambe, I would 100%. One of my things, I hope you don't mind me saying, what someone asked me, what would I change if I went back to fight Dambe again? And I said, one thing I'd do, I said, the training, I would train non-stop, either with the Dambe fighters or exactly this. I would live like a Dambe fighter. So however they'd live, I would do exactly the same for that amount of time I was there. That's exactly what I think you should do, because going over there from a different, completely different place, you're not going to experience anything like that. And that's one thing I would change. I would just go over there and live like a Dambe fighter for the time I was there, and just train like a Dambe fighter, because you're not going to get that training anywhere else in the world apart from there in that area.
No, the amount of immersion and just even the understanding, and that's the part of the camaraderie you're working on. And across any kind of sports we have, through historical African martial arts, through taekwondo, sword sports, everything, the camaraderie in these communities, most of the time, there's always going to be bad blood sometimes because we're humans. But for the most part, there's a level of respect. Just like you said, you didn't know what to say at the end, but you guys are just like, he's just like, dad. And you're just saying back, like yellow. And just back and forth, this understanding. Wow, we can talk about this forever. This is going to be, we're doing a little shorter episode today, so we're getting close on that time. However, sometime I would like to reach out more and talk and have our viewers, if they have any questions for you, But for the documentary, could you please give us a little bit more information on that so we can help support that, help get that out? Like, what information or what should we wait to hear from you? How can we help you?
Yeah, so at the moment, as far as I'm aware on the documentary, it's just been selected for the Toronto Film Festival. At the moment, the documentary obviously is we've got the trailer out that you can see on my Instagram page, and I believe African Warriors Instagram page and Maxwell's Instagram page. So the trailer is there. Obviously, any questions about the documentary, people can get in contact with either with myself or with the director, Charles Solomon. What you'll see in that documentary, I can guarantee you'll see things in that documentary that you will never have seen in any other documentary that has ever been made. There's going to be firsts in that documentary that you just won't see because no one has gone to do what I've done there, and no one's really filmed anything like that. So you're going to see some firsts in it, and it's definitely going to be a documentary that you will remember after it's finished. So it's going to be a great one.
Perfect. And I just got to hit the go ahead. We have 10 more minutes or so. If you have time, things are really going well. I'd like to keep on talking. So we go through and we'll get some other questions from people too.
100%.
Perfect. Thank you. No, we'll all get that information. We'll make sure to share that because once again, people don't get more of an understanding without being exposed to anything. So this documentary will show your journey literally and give people an idea and help. I mean, let's be honest, without getting into too much history and everything, it breaks barriers and it makes people understand. And the more we can understand that humans are humans, even though they're different cultures, but out of all cultures, most of the time people like punching each other in the face in some level of understand and or the art of it. And that's in jest and joke, but it's more about the culture and the understanding. But moving on to one of the point, you being inducted into one of the houses. There's 3 houses, am I understanding? Or how many houses are there?
Yeah, they are. At the moment, obviously, my accent and stuff, it's tried. So there is 3 houses, but with my accent and stuff, trying to say the other names, I'll probably butcher them. So I've only literally just
mastered. Don't worry, we won't even put you out there.
But I've only just mastered House Kudu. But I know there's obviously the other one I probably won't be able to say, but House Awera. I'm not even going to attempt. But yeah,
you're fine. It's okay.
But yeah, actually, as I say, being inducted into a house there is absolutely amazing, and I have the shirt that I was given upstairs, and that's something that'll come with me through my family and probably be passed down, and along with the story as well. So yeah,
that's so amazing. And I don't know about you, but I'm a big nerd at all different levels. And I know we have some viewers. Like I think about the Harry Potter houses and choosing and sorting what house you went to, like Gryffindor, Slytherin, all these things. How did you choose? Or I can only assume you weren't expecting to be taken into a house. So the fact that you just were, you're like, cool. But was there a selection process? Did you get vetted? Did you have to go and did they vet you? How'd that work?
So, as I didn't have a lot of decision really in that, I really just said to Maxwell, whichever house you think I would be more suited in, or whoever you think I would belong to the most. And I believe actually all of them kind of wanted me to be a part of it. But I think it was House Kudu that I seemed to fit in more with, especially with coronavirus and things like that. We just got on so well. And yeah, so I didn't really have too much, hand in the selection process or anything. I kind of just said to Maxwell, whatever you think, it's not really down for me to select this. I'm a people's person, so it's why not, let the people or the fighters decide. And I think, I just fell into House Kudu.
That's perfect. And that's what I assumed. I didn't want to take any assumptions because that's why we asked the questions in the first place. And for the viewers at home, I don't know if we mentioned about coronavirus. This one is a fighter. So it's not that he's having an actual in-talk discussion with an actual virus. I don't know if you guys talked about that earlier, but just clarifying.
Yeah, so what you're seeing there was the day of the induction, and that was coronavirus. That was Ali actually giving me the shirt in front of a packed arena, and he put the shirt over my head there and accepted me into House Kudu. So yeah, that was a special moment there, and something I hold quite close to me.
To ga dai coronavirus nan da shi da lukulen din masu kallon mu suna yin training. To masu kallon mu.
Awesome. Sorry, the internet's trying to. I'm gonna have a fight with that throughout the day because I'm talking about this. Granted, I'm losing, but it's really awesome to see, and I can see it. I don't know if it's just people, person, everything. You can see you getting into the culture, and it's not stilted. It's not just because you want to look for the good for the documentary. You can see it in your eyes that you're wanting to understand, and you are happy to be a part of it. Are you going to be going back in November?
African Warriors haven't approached me officially at the moment, so there's been no conversations. I mean, as it stands, my original idea was to create a documentary around different combat sports and the cultures around that, and the training, and obviously the exhibitions. So we do have another combat sport that I'm currently just beginning to get involved in, which I'm starting to document.
That's what that one is, or give us a hint.
It'll be in England, and
is it Boo Hurt? Is it Boo Hurt?
You might know. You might know too much, my friend.
Okay. You didn't say yes or no, but I'm super curious, and I'm excited about that one. I'll definitely want to hear more about that. So super cool. But like I said, really back into what we had there. They haven't approached you. You were really happy for the timing, and who knows what the history holds, or the future rather. But when I said you were going to say something, when I said you really wanted to be involved, and you could see it in your eyes, did you have a feeling you were saying something?
Yeah, that was my professional wrestling background. So in professional wrestling, obviously you interact with the crowd, and you've got to be kind of a showman. And that's something that came very naturally to me when I was there. But there's something that I just feel, the connection with the people, especially when I was there. I just like looking at them all, and as soon as I put my hand up, they were waving, and they were coming over and just wanted to shake my hand or take a picture. And it's that like electricity and connection that is you just can't explain, and that just had me for the whole time there. And even after the fight, the people followed me out to the bus, and they were in the airport and coming over and speaking to me, and it was just one of the most special times. And it was I love the feeling of it, man, and just connecting with the people. And as you're seeing there, I'm dancing up and down, I'm dancing with the drums, and I'm just going for it. So that was a great feeling, an amazing feeling, and the people made it.
That's super, super cool. And I like that it's a two-way street, right? You have to be willing to accept it. You have to be willing to accept you, and then you take the energy with it. And you were humble about it, how you went about it as well, which is what's amazing. I just think that's really cool. But as we get closer to last four, is there anything else you want to talk about the tour and some of the ways, like, even though you might not be going back, help promote people why they should do it if they're able to, why they should save their money, or just an experience. What made it worth it? Like this thing coming up in November, why other people should go if they can.
Yeah, I mean, like just going over there, I put it recently on one of my stories on Instagram. You can see these places on TV, and you can look at all these things on programs, but being there in person is 1,000%. It's more beautiful. It's 1,000% more interesting. Getting to interact with the people is just it's a completely different feeling, and something that you'll never find in just watching the TV in your front room. it's a place that you have to go. And the way the people in Lagos, in Kanu, in Katsina, the way they treated me, I'll never forget it. And as I say, this is still speaking to me now on different parts of social media, but it's about going over there and looking at people in the eye and just engaging with them and speaking to them. There's nothing like it at all that I've ever experienced, and I'm unsure if I'll ever experience anything like that again, but I definitely would love to. But even you don't have to go over there, I believe. You don't have to go over there to fight either. You can just go over there and you can either take part in the Dambe fight, or you can sit and watch a Dambe fight and just experience the culture that way. So I think it's the best in both worlds. In that sense, you don't have to take part in the physical part. You can actually just watch it. So that's sort of an interesting thing.
That's a great point. And for the viewers at home, for the people that are able to go, that you don't have to sign up to fight. It's actually a rare oddity and let's say more of an honor that Luke was able to, because like I said, there's vetting, everything. They want to make sure it's not just a spectacle, it's understanding the spirit and the rules and the thought and actually the culture if you're actually allowed to. I mean, I'd like to go and fight, but once again, it's different. Not to say that you can't, but just to go experience is what's great. And you said something that really resonated with me. It's thinking about that thing that you may never have another experience like this. And I, for one, know that you will in other cultures with the things you're working on, because it's amazing, because that just seems like the person you are, that you're going to go get these opportunities and you're going to make these opportunities and you're going to share it with the rest of the world. And I can't wait to see it, my friend. Can't wait.
Oh, excellent. No, thank you for that. 100%. This now that I've had a taste of this is something that I'm looking to do for as long as I can. I do want to experience different cultures, and this, if anything, meeting the people of Nigeria is just fed me hunger to go and do this in other places and all over the world. So yeah, I'm just I'm so thankful for the experience, and I feel lucky that I've had the experience. So and when I eventually said at the beginning that the reason why I went over is because I felt destined. I was right. That was my destiny, to go over there and meet them people and find now what I've got. So I thank the people of Nigeria for that.
That's outstanding. And people use the word destiny in such a great way. And I think it's perfect with you because you did it. Nothing was going to happen unless you're destined to do it and make it happen. So hold on to that feeling, keep on chasing it. I know some people as fighters, when they get there, they want people to fight. People are like, well, I don't want to be involved if I want people to fight and test my mettle. But I think you'll be one of those individuals to where you just feel it in your blood. You love the culture, and hopefully you make it to a ripe old age, and then you'll just go and experience and show it. So I think that's awesome, my friend. That's awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to say to our viewers?
No, absolutely. The only thing is just keep watching. Find me on Instagram. You'll see, if you type in Luke Leyland, you'll see me on Instagram there. It's Luke Leyland 1, the number 1, and follow my story there. And it's stories like this aren't told anymore. But I'm looking to bring them stories back, and hopefully, just keep following me, and I'll give everyone a good show. Catch the documentary when it is out. We don't have an out date yet. But as soon as it's out, I'll be plugging it, and it's going to be one documentary that you've never seen before. Mark my words. So, yeah.
Outstanding. I know for one we are now friends. I hope you know that. So I will definitely.
Absolutely.
I will definitely help you promote that as much as I can, and I hope one day to just even meet you and shake your hand in person and share this. This is the kind of thing that I think the world needs. It may not be meant for you or for other people, but understanding is the most important part. So without further ado, thank you for visiting us on HAMAA, and we love sharing this to the world, and can't wait to see what you do next, my friend.
Oh, thank you, Spencer. Take care, my friend, and I'll see you all soon.
Take care, my friend. Thank you so much. Until next time, my friends.
The Historical African Martial Arts Association's Hero Series celebrates the great military leaders of Africa's past. Order yours today at teespring.com.